Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Mukesh English. This is Mukesh Soni. In this video, we shall have a discussion of the first semester BCA B.Sc Generic English question paper of March-April 2023 examination under Bangalore University. Duration for the examination 2 hours 30 minutes, maximum marks 60. Let's begin it. The section 1, the section A that consists the passage. You need to read the passage and you need to answer 5 questions based on the passage. So you can go through this passage, you can pause the video and you can read the passage, and based on the passage you need to answer those 5 questions. So here we have 5 questions like, what opportunity does fashion offer us? How do we follow the icons of fashion? What do movies provide for for the viewers? Which are the attires that were replaced by Western culture? Suggest a suitable title for the passage. So you need to read the passage 2 times, or the one of the 2 times, and you need to answer the questions and answer the question to the two up to the mark. Don't copy the whole passage, just the required answer or the phrase or the word or a sentence. The second question we have here, do as directed. Here we have a question here. You need to arrange the following information in the MLA format. So the title of the book, Teach English, year 2010, author Adrian Doff, publisher Cambridge University Press. So in the MLA format or in the APA format, in both the formats, we write here the second name of the author first, the last name. So Adrian Doff, first name is here Adrian. Doff is the last name, so Doff will come first, comma, Adrian, full stop, Teach English. The name of the book should be in the inverted comma, Teach English, full stop, Cambridge University Press. That's a publisher, comma, in which year it was published, 2010, full stop. So you need to follow this format when if you are arranging the given information in the MLA format, and you will get here 2 marks. Then create a brochure about the intercollegiate drawing competition to be held in your college. That's for 3 marks. And here you can write, you can draft the brochure in this manner, or as well as you, if you, how creative you are, you can draft in a very creative manner. You can draw it, you can you can draw some images also. So these are basic information: who is the organizer, what's the theme or the name of that competition, on which date it's going to be held, time, how is the registration process, who is the contact person, what's the person's name or the contact number. Or you can also add some images here, some sort of images, pictures you can add here. Obviously in the examination you can use a color pencil to draw or to decorate it. So creating a brochure, you'll be getting here 3 marks. Now, the data interpretation. The next question is based on the title, data interpretation. Read the graph and write a paragraph in about 100 to 150 words. That's for 5 marks. So according to this chart or this graph, you can say like this. The graph shows the average pass percentage of students. The year 2019 has witnessed the lowest pass percentage, that is 40%. The highest pass percentage is 100%, which can be seen in the year 2018. The year 2016 has seen a moderate growth in the pass percentage, that is 80%. So like this, you need to give a comparative analysis about you for, or there's one more way is here, year wise. You can also say that in the year 2015 the pass percentage was about 60, and in the year 2016 it reached to about 80 percentage. 2017 it has fallen down, or it has been decreased to 50, 40 or 50%. On the other hand, the year 2018 has seen here the tremendous growth in the past percentage, that's about 100%. Then 2019 it has again fallen down due to some reasons, maybe like pandemic reasons or the COVID. So like this, you need to analyze the graph, and here you'll be getting here 5 marks. Now you need to answer here 5 questions out of 7 questions based on the listening skills, and each question has a 1 mark weightage. The first question: mention any 2 macro skills of language, that is listening, speaking, reading and writing. What is deep listening? Deep listening involves hearing more than the words of the speaker, but it also taps into the deeper meaning, unspoken needs, feelings conveyed. It is something that is done with the heart as well as the mind. Then, what is therapeutic listening useful? How is it very much useful? Therapeutic listening is a sound based intervention that was developed to support people of all the ages who experience difficulties with the sensory processing. They cannot hear or they can't speak. It provides stimulation to the auditory system through the usage of specifically altered music, that is called here therapeutic listening. Fourth one, what are the two types of signs of listening, and two types of the signs of active listening? So there are two types of signs are here: verbal signs of active listening and the non-verbal signs of active listening. So under verbal signs of active listening, we find here positive reinforcement, remembering, reflection, clarification, summarization. In the non-verbal signs of active listening, we find note, smile, avoid the distracting moments. What is verbal communication? Verbal communication is a type of communication where we use spoken and written words to get a message and information across to the other person. In the other words, we can say whenever we use our words to express ourselves or our feelings or our thoughts, we are verbally communicating. So yes, even when we are writing to someone, it is also considered as the verbal communication. So give an example for verbal sign of active listening. So positive reinforcement, remembering, reflection, clarification, summarization. These are the examples of verbal sign of active listening. Now, what is the sign of non-verbal what is the sign of non-verbal sign of active listening? Nodding or smiling can be considered as a non-verbal sign of active listening. So out of those 7 questions, you are going to opt here 5 questions, and each question has a weightage of 1 mark. Now again, we have here 5 marks questions, 2 plus 2 plus 1 under listening skills. Number 1, mention the difference between hearing and listening. 2 marks question. Hearing is the physiological ability to perceive sounds, while listening involves actively paying attention and interpreting the meaning behind those sounds. What are the objectives of active listening? 2 marks. Active listening develops relationship, it builds trust, and it also makes us to be empathetic. And the third question for 1 mark, give some examples for nonverbal communication: posture, gesture, eye contact, body language, or the body movement. So these are the 5 marks questions from the listening and the communication skills topic. Now we are moving to the next phase of uh, workbook is here, language functions. So under this we have here how to introduce yourself for somebody. So we have a question: introduce yourself or your friend to your parents. So you can say, "Hi, mom. This is my friend, Mr. Sushant. He studies with me." So that's for 2 marks. Then fill in the blanks with the appropriate dialogues. So here, the incomplete dialogues will be given here. Incomplete 2 or 3 dialogues will be given. You need to complete the dialogue having seen the previous dialogue. So for example, the first dialogue we have here, student says, "May I come in, ma'am?" So obviously the underlined one is the answer. Teacher would answer, "Yes, please come in." Student, I needed to get my marks card attested." Teacher, "Sure, for what purpose?" Student, "I'm applying for post graduation." Teacher, "Which subject are you going to opt for the PG?" Student, "I wish to do PG in chemistry." Teacher, "All the best." Student, "Thank you, ma'am." So underlined one are the answers based on the previous dialogue. So dialogue writing for 2 marks. Then, how do you inquire the office clerk about the last date to pay the examination fee? That's for 1 mark. Making an inquiry: "Good morning, sir. Could you please tell me the last date for the examination fee payment?" So this is how you can go through the language functions videos, and the links of those videos are available in the description box. Not only language functions, all the videos of the first semester BCA BSc, all the videos links you can see in the description box. That's going to help you to prepare better for the forthcoming examination. Now, moving to the next question, the part 7 of your question paper, you need to answer any one of the following questions. So that's for 2 marks. You need to write the instructions to prepare sandwich with the ingredients given below. So bread, cheese, cucumber, onion, tomato, sauce. So let's see how to prepare. So you can write in the steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can go through those instructions. I'll just give you one guideline here. When you're preparing the instructions, you need to write in the imperative sentences. The verb should be used very first. You can use the words like firstly, secondly, later, afterwards. So such words can be used here to make your instructions more effective. You can pause the video and you can go through the instructions to make the sandwich, to prepare the sandwich. You can pause the video, you can go through those 5 steps. Now you have an option here to write the instructions. You have an option. If you cannot attempt the previous question, you have another option. You need to go through this image, and based on the image you need to write the instructions how to operate a particular device. So here, read the picture and write in few steps how to use a glucometer. So you can go through the instructions like turn on the glucometer, use the lancing device to pierce the side of your finger, then squeeze your finger, place the drop of blood, blot your finger with the alcohol prep, wait for a few moments. So based on this particular image, so if you look at the image, hardly 4 steps are already mentioned here. Insert, test strip, take blood sample, apply blood, result in seconds. So only 50% instructions are already given in the image. Just you need to frame the sentences. So instruction writing has the weightage for 2 marks. Now we are moving to the grammar part here. So add a suitable question tags to the following sentences. 2 marks, 2 question tags. We saw the movie Kantara last week. So we saw the movie Kantara last week, comma. So saw, SAW, saw is the past tense. So obviously there's no helping verb in this sentence. So the verb is in the past tense. So obviously we have the helping of did. And we saw the movie Kantara last week. It's written in the assertive sentence, positive sentence, and the rule says here, if the sentence is in positive and the question text should be in the negative, in the short forms, in the contracted forms. Didn't we? Question mark. Then she's not a class representative. So is she? Why is she? It's in the negative, and the question tag will be positive. So vice versa, both cannot be same. Next question, the underlined word of the phrase is given, and you need to prepare WS question to get the answer. So Punit has been awarded Karnataka Ratna. So obviously underlined word is here Punit. So Punit means to say who. So who has been awarded Karnataka Ratna? Punit has been awarded Karnataka Ratna. Kalam did his education in Ramanathapuram. So Ramanathapuram is a place. So obviously WH word is here where. Where did Kalam do his education? Where did Kalam do his education? These are the WH questions for 2 marks. Then the subject verb agreement. Great Expectations is an interesting novel by Dickens. So Great Expectations is the name of the novel, though it ends with the extra s or es, or it seems like it's a plural noun. It's not a plural noun, it's a name of the book. So here we are talking about one book and the name is here Great Expectations. So hence we will use here singular helping verb. Great Expectation is an interesting novel by Dickens. So I have also done the videos on question tags, WH questions, tenses, subject verb agreement. You can go through the links in the description box. Now, linkers, the conjunctions. So we have here 4 linkers as well as because, but, and. So we need to fill up the suitable linkers in the fill up the blanks. So number 1, The program was cancelled. Why? Because of examination schedule. So because is the linker. The bell rang and the students ran immediately. And is the question, and is the linker. She's good at sports as well as in studies. So because and as well as, these are the three linkers, three conjunctions, and it has a weightage for 3 marks. Now, so far we have discussed here 40 marks grammar. Remember, there's a weightage of 40 marks for the grammar only. Now 20 marks we are going to have a discussion of about those chapters, lessons you have here, poem and the stories you have. So we'll be discussing these questions from the prose and poetry. And again, it has two sections. You have here 5 questions for 2 marks and 2 questions for 10 marks with choices. So 5 questions for 10 marks, you have here 7 questions, and out of 7, you are going to opt here 5 questions. Each question has a weightage for 2 marks. So let's begin. Mention any 2 resolutions made by the poet in the poem I Shall Go Back in the New Year. So he did the resolution here to buy a bicycle, build a bamboo fence, wishes to repair his old phone, avoid the lies for a new year. According to Nilim Kumar, I'm sorry, there's a fun in going back. Yes, it's true. There's a fun in going back, he feels. What is peculiar about the wolves, according to the narrator in the story The Wolf? The narrator describes the nature and attitude of the wolves. The wolves usually are silent, but sometimes they are overcome by madness and attack the tree ferociously, which frightens both of them, the narrator and the other person. The narrator finds something unusual about the wolves. The other man's wolf does not bother the narrator, and the narrator's wolf does not bother the other man. So, what astonishes the narrator is that even the wolves themselves do not bother each other. So, this is about the peculiar about the wolves. Next, what advice did Mr. Welchi give to the mother in the story Living? He said that it's a good university, and if she sends his son for the study to study abroad, so she would lose him. So one way he advises her to send her son. Same time, he also says that she's going to lose her son. Name 2 people who influenced Mr. Kalam: Jainuddin, Kalam's father; Samsuddin, Kalam's childhood friend. When did Kalam confront the uncontrollable energy of nature? When the Pamban bridge collapsed with a train full of passengers on it, he confronted the uncontrollable energy of nature. Seventh question. According to Raja Ram Mohan Roy, women are inferior to men in strength and energy. So these are the 7 questions, and out of 7 questions, you are going to opt here 5 questions, each for 2 marks, and the section 1 is here for 10 marks. Now, another 10 marks questions, we are going to have a discussion, the essay type questions. Answer any two of the following. So out of 4 questions, you are going to opt here 2. Each has a weightage for 5, total 10 marks. So let me tell you, I have given the answers in more detail. The reason behind it, if any other question appears, this answer is going to help you to opt the other questions in the examination as well. So have some patience to go through the longest answers. So, what are the decisive resolutions taken by the poet in the poem I Shall Go Back in the New Year? The poem titled I Shall Go Back in the New Year is composed by Nilim Kumar. In this poem, the poet speaks about the resolution made for the new year. He expresses his willingness to go back instead of stepping to forward for the new year. He would like to look back and reflect what he had accomplished in the past. He gives more importance to the past than the future. He wants to go back from the civilization, and for this, he takes some decisive resolution. He rejects the idea of buying a new car this new year because everyone thinks. He decides to sell his 2 cars to buy a bicycle. Unlike other people, he doesn't wish to build a new house. Instead of buying a new flat, he desires to demolish the concrete walls of his compound and build a bamboo fence which will air to pass through without intervention towards his home. It shows that he doesn't like walls and he's a man of free thoughts. He emphasizes to return to the past instead of planning for future. Instead of buying a new Android mobile, he wishes to repair his old phone which he bought only for rupees 800. He would like to arrange a new Chinese eyeglass instead of going for eye checkup. He could easily get Chinese reading glasses for just rupees 850 from the footpath of Frenzy Bazaar. He wishes to go to the past when the civilization was developing. He would like to lead a simple life. Second question: how do the author and the men suffer on the tree in the story The Wolf? The short story titled The Wolf is written by Farooq Sarwar, famous Pakistani author. In this short story, the unknown narrator breaks the barriers of his own imagination and tastes the freedom. The narrator tells that he had taken shelter in a tree for a long time, but he's afraid to come down because there's a thirsty wolf under the tree. He's afraid that if he comes down to the ground, the wolf will tear him into pieces. He describes the tree on which he has taken refuge or he has taken a shelter. The tree is unusual but not a magical tree. Although it is not a magical tree, it grants him all the things he wishes for. Example: soft warm bed, TV with stereo speakers, worldwide channels, all kinds of food, etc. The narrator is happy to be on the tree for which gives him all the comforts of life, but the only thing the narrator feels he does not have, that is his freedom. The narrator is sure that freedom comes with its cost, and that cost is his life. Because if he tries to run away from the tree, he will be killed by the wolf who is waiting for him below the tree. The narrator thinks that he doesn't have the courage to face the wolf and kill it. The narrator recalls the days in his life when the wolf was chasing him. He breaks into cold sweat and his heart sinks. He thanks God for saving him from the wolf by providing the tree so that he could be safe on it. Even in his despair, the narrator feels that he is safe because the tree is a tall one and the wolf cannot reach him. The narrator feels safe during daytime, but at night he is troubled by the nightmares. He is agonized because he is a captive in the tree. He wonders how long he has to suffer the agony of the captivity. He wonders if he has to wait for the wolf to die of of the die of hunger, and please correct, he has to wait for the wolf to die of the hunger, but there's no hope at all. One morning, he is surprised to find another man who has also taken shelter on the tree. The man had also chosen the very same tree to escape from the another wolf which was troubling him. The wolf which was troubling the new man could not reach him. Both the narrator and the new man were afraid that the wolves were hunting them. Both of them have every means of comfort on the tree, but they are haunted by boredom and a feeling of oppression. The frightful images of the wolves never allow them to sleep. They cannot sleep peacefully. The narrator describes the nature and the attitude of the wolves. The wolves usually are silent, but sometimes they are overcome by the madness and attack the tree ferociously, which frightens both of them. The narrator finds something unusual about the wolves. The other man's wolf does not bother the narrator, and the narrator's wolf does not bother the other man. What astonishes the narrator is that even the wolves themselves do not bother each other. One day, after long discussion, they both decide to get down and confront the wolves. They are fed up with the imprisonment on the tree. The narrator's friend jumps down. Even before his wolf could react, he kills it with a branch from the tree. The narrator does not have the courage to get down, and his wolf claws desperately at the tree trunk. The narrator's friend encourages him to get down, assuring him that the wolf is weak and could be killed easily. The narrator does believe his words, shivers in fever. His wolf starts to shake the tree, and strangely, the tree starts to shrink. The narrator is terrified, numbly waits for the death to take him, but the narrator's friend urges him to jump down. He convinces the narrator that the wolf is just an embodiment of imaginary fears which can be kicked out of a path to freedom. The narrator then gathers all his courage and jumps down. The narrator now feels free. He experiences the beautiful world of freedom. When he looks for his friend, he can't find him. He looks around and finds himself surrounded by innumerable trees. He finds that each tree is occupied by one individual, and a wolf is growling beneath each tree. That's about the story, Wolf. And finally, we can say the narrator then starts to laugh out loudly. He laughs at those foolish people who are afraid of the wolves without any reason. Here, the wolf is a metaphor for our imagined fears. Unless we overcome our imagined fears, we will never be free. Without freedom, our life is oppressive. We have to face our wolves' imagined fears with courage and destroy them. Though it's quite long answer, but that has given you all the other questions answers. The story living reflects on family relationship and kinship. Explain. The story living by M.G. Vasanji explores many themes including motherly love and sacrifice, ambition, loneliness, sadness, hope for the future. The story begins in Upanga, a small town in Tanzania, where the narrator, a university student, lives with a family. Her mother, a widow, has sold their store and moved to Upanga so that the narrator and her younger brother Alu can focus on their studies. Sorry, it's not brother, it's a younger son. Alu in his final year of school when Mr. Dattu, an ex-teacher from America, visits and encourages him to apply to study at an American university. Alu is eager to study medicine and begins writing to American universities to obtain the necessary information. However, and his mother is unhappy about the prospect of him about the as he was going abroad, and she was not happy. To seek advice, Alu's mother meets Mr. Welji, a school officer who is impressed with Alu's results and recommends that he accepts the offer. He should accept the offer to go abroad. He warns the mother that she will lose her son, but Alu protests that many parents send the children overseas without losing them. After much consideration, Alu's mother relents and allows him to go abroad for his education. Alu promises to remain true to his values and beliefs and write excitedly from London, where he stops over before continuing to America. He is thrilled with the new opportunities presented to him, while his mother wonders if she will be able to see him again. The narrator observes her mother's sadness. The narrator observes her the narrator observes his mother's sadness and reflects on the sacrifices that she has made to provide her children with a better future. So please correct, it's not she, it is he. Write a note on Kalam's multifaceted personality. This lesson is taken from Wings of Fire, an autobiography of APJ Abdul Kalam. He worked under Kalam for over a decade in the Defense Research and Development Laboratory, Hyderabad. This extract gives us an introductory insight into Kalam's life, his childhood, and the people who influenced him, his family, his upbringing, and early days of struggle. Also, could we notice the cultural and the religious milieu Rameshwaram offered young Abdul Kalam. He was born into middle-class Tamil family in the island town of Rameshwaram in the erstwhile Madras state. His father, Jainal Abdin, had neither much formal education nor much wealth. Despite these disadvantages, he possessed great innate wisdom and the generosity of spirit. He had an ideal helpmate in his mother, Ashiyama. He was one of the many children, a short boy with rather undistinguished looks, born to tall and handsome parents. They lived in their ancestral house, which was built in the middle of the 19th century. Kalam was very much influenced by his father's philosophy. His father used to do namaz at 4 a.m. This remained his routine even when he was in his late 60s. He learned he learned from his father the fundamental truths, the existence of divine power which can lift one up from confusion, misery, melancholy, and failure and guide one to one's true place. He never doubted that the prayers in the temple reached the same destination as the ones offered in a mosque. He only wondered whether Jalaluddin had any other special connection to God. Jalaluddin's schooling had been limited principally because of his family's straitened circumstances. He often encouraged Abdul Kalam to read all types of books and visit his home to borrow books. Abdul Kalam inherited honesty and self-discipline from his father, from his mother. He inherited faith in he inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness, and so did his three brothers and sister. The unschooled wisdom of Jalaluddin and Samsuddin was so intuitive and responsive to non-verbal messages that he could unhesitantly, unhesitat- unhesitatingly attribute his subsequently manifested creativity to the company in his childhood. Abdul Kalam was also greatly influenced by science teacher Siva Subramanya Iyer. He also learned the lesson of breaking social barriers from him. Samsuddin and Jalaluddin traveled with him to Ramnathpuram to enroll Kalam at Schwartz High School. Despite his homesickness, Kalam was determined to settle down in the new environment to fulfill the giant hopes of his father about his success. The power of positive thinking made him to join the Schwartz High School. Kalam has mentioned, destiny did not lead me back to Rameshwaram, but rather swept me farther away from the home of my childhood. So, this extract gives us an introductory insight into Kalam's life, his childhood, and the people who influenced him, his family, his upbringing, and early days of struggle. Also, could be noticed the cultural and religious milieu Rameshwaram offered young Kalam. So friends, this is how I have solved the 2023 question paper of first semester BC B.Sc Generic English under Bangalore University, and the same question paper could also be considered as a practice paper for the other universities which have the same syllabus like BNU. So you can also go through the all the other videos, links, all the chapters, grammar items, videos, links in the description box. Thank you so much for watching this video. Wish you good luck for the examination.